What's up, guys? Welcome to Run It Back with Blair Bomber. I'm Ryan Leaf. Things are starting to look up. Guys, I've just been feeling real nostalgic lately. I don't know what it is. I think it might be because I have this new job, and at the new job, your boy gets a 30% discount at Nike, which is a game changer. I've been kind of going counterculture for the last 3 or 4 years, really getting into, Adidas, New Balance, kind of riding that champion streetwear. But now that I have this discount, it doesn't even make sense to not go all in with the checks, right? So I was like, I wonder if they have any old WSU shit, any Washington State stuff. And I look in there, they have like 3 shirts. One of them, this one right here. Fucking fire. It's a good shirt. It's a nice shirt. And I don't know, man. I feel like there was this time where I kind of went away from Washington State because I did. I was there for 3 years, then I transferred away, went to Eastern, finished up at Eastern, and I don't really know if I ever really felt like I was fully in both camps, right? Because I definitely felt like I was a Coug for a short, 3 years. Like that's a lot of 3.5 years. It's a big time of my life, and a lot of it was changing from being this fucking high school, we'll say bitch, just like a little high school bitch, into being kind of a college bitch. But here's the thing. You don't really know in the moment in college that you're still a kid because you've had this weird sense of freedom that you didn't have before. So when I was at WSU, I remember going in there like, I can do whatever I want, I'm the man. But I was still using my parents' debit card. Like I was in no way was I an adult. Like I was getting paid money, which we found out later was not enough money. So NCAA, who says y'all are crooked? I would never say you guys operate just outside of slave labor. I would never say that about NCAA. Good, upstanding program they are. I'm going to move this light up here. I feel like you can't see my face all the way. Is that better? That's more fill. That's better. We'll go with that. We'll say it's better even if it's not. But man, but just to put a pin in like the back and forth is Washington State felt like my home, and then it was Eastern, and I kind of had to readjust. And I found some of my best friends ever at both schools, right? Eastern, I think, felt more at home because I graduated from there. I played 2 sports there, and it just kind of didn't play them well, but I still was there. Because there's Rudy, and then there's the guy who hates Rudy because he's playing a little bit more, but still not enough to consider himself the man. And that's kind of where I was at. Like, if I got in, people were never like, God, this guy has just worked his whole career to get that one play. I wasn't a fucking bitch like that. I was a high school bitch, but that was for different reasons. But like in reality, like if I'm getting time, people liked me. They're like, good for Blair. But I was never really a guy who was like, man, that guy's a real killer. No, it was more like, hey, it's all paid off, right? Yeah, no. Yeah, 5 years of never playing and going through 4 knee surgeries. Yeah. It was so worth the 17 career catches that I had. I'm fucking really killing it, man. Whatever. Okay. But WSU, man, I think I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start breaking these down year by year. I'll do every so often. I'll revisit a year in college. Because I think each year, like, as an isolated topic is enough to fill enough time here. So, freshman year WSU. Let's go over a couple things. Thought I was an adult. Clearly was not. Clearly using my parents' shit. My parents are still monitoring all my stuff. Like, what are you spending money at Sedex for? It's like, that's back home. I was at a 76 station and I was buying a lot of Doritos. But you're in the dorms, dude. My dorms were, I think I've talked about this before, but the dorms at WSU, Stray Parham, were awful. Like, it was kind of like if you were in a barn with a lot of plywood stuck in between. You're kind of just elbow to elbow with a bunch of weirdos who are never going to actually graduate school. I mean, I didn't graduate from there, so I was one of those weirdos. But it was me and my boy, Zach Johnson. Shout out Zach Johnson. This guy is my guy. I was the best man at his wedding. I think that, have I covered? Someone messaged me and say, remind me if I talked about the Zach Johnson, Nebraska wedding party story. Because I can bring that one maybe at a later episode. But Zach Johnson, my guy. We're boys since middle school. We're going, live in the dorms. We got all the whole shit up. He's the kind of guy who has the electronics, he's the forefront of all things technology. And I'm a guy who wants to be friends with that guy because I don't want to have to own anything or learn a manual. I want you to have to spoon feed me directions on how to do stuff. Like Zach, this universal remote, No idea how to use it. He was like, I'll do it. And I'm like, great. Never had to learn because he was always on point. Here's the thing about living in a shoebox with somebody. It doesn't matter how close you are to them. At some point, you will hate each other. You will hate each other. And there's never really one thing. There's never one incident that is going to be the thing. It's like, no, dude, you took a shit on my pillow. That's not how it works. You puked in my sock drawer. Oh my God, you fucked a girl on top of me of the bunk bed. That's fucked up. Also, I was jerking off. So it's cool, man. It's cool. I came, you came. She, was there. So it's totally fine. I think I've talked about this before too, the Zach Johnson and I rooming together stuff. But I'm going to do it again because that was from a long episode ago. And I think I have at least 6 more listeners now. So we're going to keep moving. Zach would do this thing. We get up every morning at 5 a.m., sometimes 4:45 to go to workouts, which fucking sucked. I'll talk about football maybe in 10 years when I feel like I'm in a better place to discuss how much of a fucking failure I was. So just not cool. So Zach would do this thing where he would get up in the morning and he'd be parched. We're all thirsty in the morning. Some people just sip of water, good to go. Make a bigger goal. Zach would wake up every morning. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's one of my favorite things. This just shows how much of a douchebag I am and how nothing that Zach did was actually wrong. It just shows how if you live in these tight quarters, that at some point, you're going to fucking wish the other person that sleeps in the same room as you got diabetes rapidly and then died in front of you. And then you would feel like, well, that fat fuck had it coming, didn't he? But here's the thing. He would take water. He would unscrew a fresh bottle of water, like a Kirkland water bottle. And he would go, Blair, are you exaggerating? I might be. I think what he actually did, because the more I think about it, the more I think I was incorrect in the moment. I think what he actually did was he unscrewed water, gulp, gulp, gulp. That's what he probably did for real. But after 9 months of living in the same space where you have to kind of plan out when you can jerk off in your room, it's going to make you kind of not like, oh man, everything you do, like you breathe out your left nostril more than your right and I can hear the difference. That kind of stuff, right? So I could never say anything to him. I just kind of harbored it inside for, I don't know, probably 12 years. And now I'm talking about it now on a podcast. But whatever, dude. That's fun, right? That's a good time. But Zach's my boy. And we had a good time. We spent like 2 months where we just didn't go out and party. We just stayed in and played Call of Duty. Like, fucking losers were we. Plus, we both had girlfriends long distance. That also kept me out of trouble. Because I wasn't fucking. And freshman, sophomore year of college, that's prime fucking years, man. That's sorority parties. That's waking up in her bed and her friends like, fucking Sarah, I cannot even believe that you slept with this guy. I thought you had way more self-respect than this. And then Sarah's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Like, it's my thing. Dude, I heard but I wasn't doing that because I had a girl and shout out Hannah. She was the best. She was the best. I really liked her. She was great. Grew apart, didn't work out. I wish her the best. But her and I would, when you're living distance, like you're still a horned up kid because you go from like having sex for the first time when you're younger. You're fucking a lot because you're just like, it's coming out of your eyes. You got to get it out somehow. To now you're living 7 hours away. How am I supposed to cope with not putting it in anybody anymore? So I did the smart thing. I had a brand new MacBook and we were just jerking off on Skype together all the time. Any chance I could get. If my room was closed, the door was closed and locked, I would put the chair up against it. Like you stack it up against it. You can't open it from the outside. And we would just say, I don't even know, like probably say wild shit. And then I would just come into my own hand. And that was, at the time, the hottest thing in the world. Because anytime anybody's on camera, it just feels like, this is pretty cool, right? Isn't this pretty dope? It's kind of a good time. Fucking, why even say that? But I do think it's funny because it's like, you're just jerking off on Skype all the time, Blair? It's like, yeah, dude, I was 19 and horny. Isn't that better than going out and fucking a bunch of prostitutes? Yeah. You don't like it when you call them sorrostitutes, do you? That's not fun. If you're in a sorority, I feel like I'm really disrespecting you. Who gives a shit? No one cares. No one's listening. Jerked off on Skype a lot that freshman year. And a lot that sophomore year. That was just a lot of me just jerking off. A lot of it's just being alone on camera, which is why I know my best angle. It's like how like an Instagram model knows her best angles. I know my best angle to catch, my junk where the light's hitting me just right. And I look kind of jacked, but not too jacked. You don't want to look too muscly on camera. You guys, if you've jerked off on Skype before, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, put that aside. So it was me and Big Zach. Zach was the man. Then it was Big Jake. The big guy. The guy gets way too much press on the pod. In fact, I put out a pod, I think it was 2 pods ago, talking about the Phoenix Strip Club night. And his girl, Kendra, shout out Kendra, she listens and is like, Jake, do I really want to, how does Kendra sound? Jake, do I really want to? No, that's not all. Could you imagine it's go really disrespectful? Just like, Jake, you sound like you're doing bad things at a strip club. That's not how she sounds. She's a very nice lady. Very nice lady. Woman? Lady. Girl. Probably shouldn't say girl. If you're over 25, you can't really call yourself a girl. You can call you a whore, though. I can call you that. If you do nothing at all that's just how I'm trying to hurt your feelings. If I call you a whore, that's just what I'm going to do. That's how I get under your skin in 1 word or less. 2 syllables. Whore. That's one syllable? That's 1 syllable. But I was on that story. She's like, well, listen to this. And Jake's like, no, maybe avoid it. But again, no incriminating things. But I talk about Big Jake a lot. He had a very big part of my life. He's still a big part of my life. He's still a giant, giant piece of shit. But, that's my guy, ride or die, till the end. Kind of guy where it's like, if someone says, well, what would you have to do for you to turn on? Nothing. There's not a single thing he could possibly do. Well, what if you fucked your ex-girlfriend? Good. That does not, go ahead. Catch whatever she thinks she has, mentally or physically. Go ahead. We'll talk about it later. Tunnel buddies for life. We're in. All right, what if him and your mom, stop you right there. Bonnie is not into big guys. She likes short men that used to play baseball back in the 70s. Shout out my dad and shout out, stepdad Dennis, okay? Not into big guys like Jake. Not everybody likes a big guy. But if you do like a big guy, you love a big guy. And when you're I'm going to say Jake's 6'9", 400 pounds. He's 6'9", 415 pounds. And some women like that. Other women are like, I feel like I don't feel as safe around you because if you roll over and you snore a lot, you roll over on top of me, I die. So I'm going to try to avoid that for as long as I possibly can. Believe it or not, when I first met Big Jake, didn't like him. The guy was he was weird. First of all, he was skinny. He was like 220. And WSU was like, hey, Jake, man, you come in here, dude. You come in here, dude. You come in here. That's how I think coaches sound to me when they're pitching you at when coaches are recruiting you, they try to sound like they want to talk like you. They either want to give you like the son thing, like, son, you want to come to Washington State? Or they go, all right, dude, fucking Washington State's where you want to be, man. We got bitches, we got booze, and we got more bitches. You want to come here. They told him, he's like, Jake, you be a tight end, dude. You can be a tight end for us. You're never going to play the offensive line. Second day on campus. Rogers, you're getting fitted for knee braces today. Also, we're going to need you to put on 100 pounds and hate yourself for the next 14 months. Deal? He's like, shit. All right. This dude put on a good, I'm going to say 190 pounds our first year. It was disgusting. But again, I didn't like him as much because he was kind of weird. He was kind of this weird, like skinny-headed fucking, I don't know, he's just a weird guy. And then as we became better friends, I learned that this guy loved getting fucked up. And I found later on that I too love getting absolutely fucking wasted. So we bonded over that. He liked Tool, which I don't like screamo music. What is it for? Like metal. Like I get that people like metal, but what are you doing? You can't really do anything when that's on. Like you can't read a nice book. You can't study with it on. You can drive in an Oldsmobile to rob a bank with that. Yeah, man. Like you can do that on the way to go, murder minorities. You can do that. That's when that music is time. But how would you just put it on you wouldn't put it on to study or have like a cup of coffee. Like you wouldn't do that. But he liked metal, and I thought that was weird. But, we came together, and we were boys. And also the guy, going back, if you were ever a Call of Duty, if you're still a Call of Duty fan, but like back in the day, Modern Warfare 2, this dude was the filthiest dude I've ever, well, okay, he was up there. He's going to hate me to say this, but he was up there probably 1-2, him and our boy Scotty 4K. Remind me to tell the Scotty 4K story sometime. Or Scott, reach out to me and tell me not to tell it, in which case I'll just forget and tell it a different time. Like, I'm just like shouting out people that probably don't even listen, and you have no idea who they are. Like, if you're a person who doesn't really know me, you just found the podcast, like, who the fuck is he talking about? Well, you know about Big Jake, you know about Zach, you know about my ex Hannah. They're very nice people. Now, Big Jake, we would go out and have a good time all the time. But that first year, man, I felt like we were just doing, first of all, we ate like shit because he had to eat. The guy would go into like the lunchroom, and he would take a plate of food, and he would just, you know how some people like to have their food separated, like they don't like when their food are touching. I don't mind if it's touching. I don't really give a shit, but I don't really want to compact it all. I don't want to squeeze the food in together. I don't want to the point where you know when you take food and you put it all together and mix it up, at some point it always looks like mashed potatoes and gravy. That's kind of what he would do. Then he would salt it and eat it every day. And if that wasn't enough, he would go to McDonald's every day. Him and Big Zach, well, this is year 2, but like in the future, they would go to McDonald's for 2 reasons. 1, to gain weight, and 2, because we didn't want to do any dishes at our apartment. So, and McDonald's was giving these glass cup giveaways for every value meal you bought. So by the end of that month, we had, I don't know, I don't like exaggerating. I think exaggerating is fucking lame. But we had like 300 of those Coca-Cola glasses. And I think we broke a couple on the way out. Because they're fucking Coke glasses. Who gives a shit? And Enterprise is the bad thing. But Big Jake, these are 2 things that stick out to me. All right, two things that really stick out. Because like you don't really remember what people said. You remember how they make you feel. That's like that hack thing that people say. But I remember these 2 instances. I'll go over 2 of them. I'm going to keep saying 2. I don't know why I keep saying 2. I'm going to go over 2. I don't know why I tell you what I'm about to do. I'm just going to fucking do it. And either you're in or you're out. Either you're in or you're fucking, you're out of here. It was snowing. Pullman is so cold. And Jake had this Jeep. Again, Jake's a big guy. And he drove a Jeep. It was kind of like the size of like an iPhone charging port. Like, like the little thing where there's the box and then there's the cord. His Jeep was the size of the box, and that's what he would drive around him. We went out and we got Little Caesars, and then we also got Mongolian Fire. If you remember Pullman from 2010 to I think 2013, 14, Mongolian Fire was Mongolian Fire. It was the best. You just go in there and you just load up this bowl and as much as you wanted, and you just throw all this sauce in there, and then pretty much they just give it to you, and you're like, hey, this weighs a certain amount, so here, give us $50. And Jake was like, I don't think it's that much money. They're like, dude, it's like you have a dead dog in your bowl. And it's not because they were Asian. It's because that's how much his thing weighed. And then he also, after he had a pizza. He had a Little Caesars pizza. So he had a Little Caesars pizza, and he had Mongolian Fire on top of that. Guys, the kid is a fat kid. He's a fat kid. And I'm in the passenger side. We pull up, and I got to run inside and grab something. Then we're going to come back. No. We park in the front. We're both going to go inside. So we park the Jeep out front. I'm parking. We both put our hands on the park, and we held it together, and we looked at each other's eyes, and we had a nice long kiss. That's what we did. I get out. I walk around the Jeep to the other side. As I open my door, I look at him, and he steps out. As he steps out, the foot he disappears. He disappears, but his right leg is still lodged in the Jeep. So the guy falls flat on his back. Pratfall, like not even a pratfall, like he falls hard. Guy's fat. Fat guys don't fall well if they can't roll. If they can roll, they'll be okay. Because fat guys, if they get some momentum, they roll forward. They're much better. They're round guys. He falls, and there is nothing funnier than watching someone you care about fall down. It's always funny. I don't care how old, it could be the oldest person you've ever met. If they fall in front of you, you're going to worry for their safety. But the second you hear them still breathing, you're going to laugh a little bit on the inside, if not outwardly the way I did. I run around. I see him. His leg is still lodged. He has now tabletopped the Mongolian Fire and The Little Caesars together. He has them up vertical. It's one of the most impressive catches I've ever seen. Straight out. It's like that scene in Spider-Man, the first one, Tobey Maguire, before he got really gay in the third one, where he throws all the shit in the air and he like catches it with the Spidey senses, like it was kind of like that. And I don't know why that. I think the reason that stuck out to me, one, funny to see him fall. Two, it showed me how passionate this guy was about horrible food that's trying to kill him. And that's a guy you can really put your trust in, a guy like that. Second thing, this will be the last thing I'll go over, because I think we're running a little bit longer. So people had said, hey, Blair, make the podcast a little bit longer. And you know what, boys and girls, and mostly just boys? Shout out to my mom and Danielle Howe. Shout out. God, I had a crush on her in high school. She was such a babe. She's still a babe, but I mean, you don't live that close, and you kind of fall out of touch. What are you gonna do? But she's a big supporter of Run It Back with Blair Bomber. So shout out to you. You're the best, babe. Love you. Okay. First time I ever did Adderall. It was an absolute trip because everyone had it. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't do drugs in college. I don't even smoke. I think I smoked twice in my first 4 years of college. That's a different story entirely. That's a trip to the Central Washington Wildcats. Shout out young JC. That was a brutal. JC and Christian. I'm just saying names of people that you don't know, but we'll get to those later. I literally have the rest of my life to go over it, so you guys can just strap in. Strap in. Take Adderall. I have to study for a Sociology 101 exam. So a class that was 500 students and no attendance. So I was there. I had more jerk-offs on Skype a week than I did attendance to that class. That's how little I cared about that class. But I had probably 2 days to study for this final. And my boy's like, yo, take this Adderall and you'll be able to read forever. And I was like, that doesn't seem, I don't know if that's working. I've taken caffeine before. 5 energies are cool. I've taken those. I take a 10 milligram Adderall. And I open up this book. And this is how it felt. I opened it up. And then I closed it. And it felt like it was that long. I've been there for 5.5 hours, read the entire book, front to back. And I understood it. I was knocking out all the assignments, turning shit in left and right. I was really rolling. And then I got a D on the test. So it didn't really matter, but I did stay. But then the thing about Adderall is even once you're done studying, you're like, oh, I got all the studying I needed to do. If you ever had it, your nervous system is like, what is this, dude? We don't know what this is. So what we're going to do is we're going to make you stay up for the next, let's say, 72 hours. Sound good? Does it sound good? So I stayed up pretty much for an entire day. And then the next day, got a little bit of sleep. Next day, Big Jake and I wanted to study for a different test. Some other fucking test, doesn't matter. I think we liked the idea so much about staying up all night. Like, we studied all night, man. In college, sometimes you just gotta cram, and you just don't sleep, and then you fucking power through. We sat in the study hall in Stripe Parham with like 4 Monster Energies each, 3 large bags of sunflower seeds. And we studied, we were there for probably a good 6-7 hours. And we studied for probably 15 minutes of that. We spent 2.5 hours spitting sunflower seeds out of our mouth across the room, trying to get them to land on the table without hitting the floor. We did that for 3 hours. We did that for 44 hours. That's what that was college. That's what we did freshman year. And God, I was a mediocre student. I ended up being a 4.0 student at Eastern because they didn't transfer my credits over because I went from a semester school to a quarter school, and I didn't tell anybody that my GPA was kind of average. So I started taking freshman classes again. I was really knocking it out of the park. So the guys that had like CPAs, they were like taking like real exams and shit. I was taking like intro to music, history of music, and passing. And I had the best GPA in the whole team. And a couple of guys weren't that happy about it. And I was like, guys, what are you going to do? You got to be a little dumber early on and get smarter late. That's how you win. That's it. That's good. That works out. That checks out. 24.5 minutes. Perfect. Longest one in a while. I made this one long. Let me know what you guys think. If you like it, great. If you don't, eat shit. If you like the length of these, get back to me. Say, hey, yeah, we like that. That was a good length. Enjoyed it. If not, say you want it back short. Maybe I'll just go back and forth. It really just depends on how I feel. But we did it. That's it. Good work. Eat shit. Fuck off.